Shalom, Israel, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Donal. Hoping to be a part of the Lek, coming back with another video, trying to edify my people, right? I'm in a stage where I'm constantly learning every day, but the knowledge that I do have, it's very important that I share it with you guys, and vice versa. The knowledge you guys got, man, it's very important that you share that to amongst your peers, right? Amongst your brothers, amongst your people, right? Because it's all about furthering this edification. The Bible says knowledge will increase in the last days. And that's a part of that job. A part of that burden is upon us, right? To constantly be seeking knowledge and to furthering knowledge, right? And it's truth. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Abba Nawa Yahweh, Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, right? That is the name of the Father, in the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? Today's going to be a good lesson, right? Today's going to be a good lesson. Just a quick synopsis about what happened last lesson, right? We're in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, and we did verse number 7 last, what was that? Monday, Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, right? We did, today's Thursday. Yeah, Tuesday, we did verse number 7. Quick synopsis for that, right? I'm going to go over verse 7 real quick. Nothing too in depth. If you want to watch the breakdown for verse number 7, we did a video on Tuesday on this page, right? But it reads, "Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land," right? Quick synopsis on that, right? Thou shalt abhor an Edomite. What does this word abhor mean? Abhor means to do abominably. No, it does not mean to hate, right? People get that it's synonymous with hate because they go to Google definitions, or they Google search it, and it says that abhor means hatred. But if you actually look up the word in the concordance, it'll tell you to do abominably or morally detest. What does morally detest mean? Morally detest means to in layman's terms, to go against your morals. What are our morals as Hebrew Israelites, right? The law, statutes, and commandments. So we can't do anything to these Edomites that is against our morals. We can't do anything to these Edomites that's abominable. At this time, the Edomites had not done anything to us. Therefore, we could not do anything to them, right? We couldn't take their women, couldn't take anything that they own, because that would be considered robbery, right? And we couldn't rob them, right? Because that's against our moral conduct. Also, we couldn't kill them because they had not killed none of us. Actually, it's crazy because Esau had shown us grace, right? Esau had shown us grace at the time where Jacob thought he was going to kill him. He actually showed him grace. So we definitely couldn't kill them because that would be considered murder, right? So we see that abhor just means to do abominably, and we could not do that to them because they didn't do it us. Quick precept on that real quick. Let's get the book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 18, right? I love this precept because it's gonna propel us into the lesson today, right? This is Romans 12 and 18, and it reads, "If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men," right? It's telling us to live. Paul is telling us to live peaceably with all men, right? No matter what nation that is. If it's possible and it's inside of you, go ahead and live and deal peacefully with all men, right? Because in the bigger scheme of things, you got to understand, right? We all know that we're fighting principalities, right? We're not fighting against flesh and blood. Yes, the war is against Amalek. Yes, the war is against Edom, right? But at the end of the day, Edom is only so much, right? We're not really fighting against Edom, but we're fighting against the spirit that's on Edom, that's on Esau, right? That's why a lot of times where you talk to a white person, right, and they don't even recognize that they're racist. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just in them that they're racist. It's just in them to be racist. But a lot of times we're not fighting Esau per se, but the spirit that's on Esau, right? And so we got to understand that. That's why it says, if it be possible, as much life within you, live peaceably with all men, right? Again, I'll restate that again. for the newcomers that just hopped in here, right? A lot of times we get in gung ho about fighting Esau and whatnot, but a lot of times we don't understand that we got to take everything in perspective. We're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against principalities, right? So we're fighting against the spirit that is on Esau, right? We're not. That's why Paul is telling us live peaceably with all men, because at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen, right? We know the end game. We know the end of the story, right? Whether we get persecuted or not, you know what I'm saying? And that's Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth within you, live peaceably with all men. Now, right? That was the last lesson. That was a quick synopsis on last lesson on thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. If you want to watch the whole video on thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, man, it's on this page. I encourage you to watch it. But now we're going to the next verse. This is Deuteronomy 23 and verse number 8, because this is a stumbling block for a lot of people too, right? And it reads, the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in the third generation. What is this talking about? So last time we talked about not abhorring the Edomite, right? We kind of shook up some gears. It's on the YouTube too. We kind of shook up some gears for those, because there's two types of Israelites, really, right? When it comes down to it, you got those that love Esau too much, and you got those that hate Esau too much. You know what I'm saying? And there's a happy medium, believe it or not, right? That's why Paul told us to live peaceably with all men if it's within you, right? And so last time when we talked about abhorring the Edomite, we pretty much broke down what abhor meant, and abhor does not mean hate. And so and even when you look at hate, to hate is not a sin, and we see that throughout the Bible. And so I think we kind of grinded the gears of those that love the Esau a little too much to show them that, hey, look, you know what I'm saying? There's a time to hate. You know what I'm saying? And it's not nothing that's against the law of God, because it's not. And that might have grind their gears, but this lesson, it might grind the gears of those that hate Esau too much, right? And it's just the facts. It's just the facts. I'm gonna start off. Actually, this is a little different, right? I'm gonna start off by playing a little clip, right, from my brethren in this truth that I learn from time to time. It's a quick little clip, man, and he said some powerful things, man. I want y'all to check this out real quick.
I mean, that's just the fact of the matter, man. Like, I think a lot of times, man, when we take our feelings for Esau and we recognize how Esau has dealt with us, that we take on this idea that we just cannot be around any nation outside of Israel. And come on, dude. This is why a lot of times people get cut up by Christians, where they're going into the scriptures and showing how even in our kingdom, we're going to have these people around. People get so twisted up by Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, to say, how could this be talking about them? And it says that, you know, they could enter into the congregation after the third or fourth generation, because they was never forbidden for us. You know, they were never forbidden from being a part of our congregation. There's no law that says the Egyptians can't be in Israel. There's no law that says Edomites cannot be in Israel. You just have never seen it. So when you read a scripture like Deuteronomy 23rd chapter, and it's telling you, do not do these people abominably. Don't have this hatred for these people where you just feel like they can't be around. It's okay. It's okay. Some of these people, like Sarge just read, some of these people have knowledge of things. Didn't the Lord tell us in the garden we could eat from these trees? Except the one.
I'm going to pause it right there. Hold up. Yeah, I'm going to pause it right there, man. So the brother was saying some powerful things, man. You know what I'm saying? In a practical sense, right? A down-to-earth sense. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see that video, it's on the Brothers of Sakari's page. The title of that page is the title of that video was The True Meaning of Love Your Enemy in the Bible, right? And that's more so at the end of the video, the second part, when Sakari's San Diego comes on, right? But the brother's saying some powerful things, right? He goes on to kind of joke around and says, hey, look, guys, I got a confession. right? I hold the door open for Edomites, right? If an Edomite says, have a good day, I might say, you too. He's joking about it, but in a sense, man, it's like sometimes we got to stop being so weird, as Brother Yahweh always say. Why are you being weird to me, right? Sometimes we got to stop being weird, because at the end of the day, we got to learn how to be peaceable with all men. Back in the days of old, we even seen that we were peaceable with all men, right? Until somebody wanted to act crazy, then we got crazier. But at the beginning of it all, we always act peaceable among men. So I'm gonna get this verse real quick, just to just to go into this verse of Deuteronomy 23 and verse 8 about these nations coming into the congregation of the Lord, right? You got to understand, the congregation is just the embodiment of the people. The congregation is just the people, right? They're going to be there, right? They're going to be there. Let's get the book of Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse number 13. Actually, I'm going to start at verse number Ezekiel 47, starting at verse 22, right? Ezekiel 47 and starting at verse 22. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by... This is talking about the kingdom, right? Ezekiel's talking about the kingdom to come, right? Pay attention, because it's going to be talking about the heathen. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, talking to the Israelites, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall begot children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. Right? He's telling, hey, these heathen are going to have kids, and they're going to be around your kids. Right? Keep reading. They shall have an inheritance with you amongst the tribes of Israel. And it shall come to pass that what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord God. Right? What is this talking about? These strangers are going to have an inheritance in our kingdom? What in the world? You got to understand, right? Everything in its proper context. Yes, the world was made for our sakes. Yes, the whole world will be ours, right? But there's going to be other nations in there, and they're going to have their own little lot, their own little inheritance, right? I'm going to put this in perspective for you, right? In slavery times, Massa had the big White House, right? But where did the slaves live? In the slave quarters, right? They had an inheritance on Massa's property. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be the same thing, right? If you don't know what slave quarters are, man, you can Google some pictures, watch some movies. It's always the wooden shacks that look like oversized chicken coops, right? That's what we was living in, right? But it was our inheritance. Fast forward to America, right? Nowadays, right? This is our land of captivity still, right? But what do you see? You see the projects, right? They have a place to put us, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We have an inheritance on this land. Even when you look at the Native Americans, right? The Native Americans have allotted places like up in North Carolina and whatnot. They have an inheritance in this land of captivity, right? It's going to be the same thing, right? So we got to start getting bent out of shape over the heathen aren't going to make it, this, that, and the third. Okay, they're not, and we got to put everything in context. They're not getting salvation because they have nothing to be saved from, but they will be in the kingdom, right? We have to wrap our minds around what salvation is. Yes, it's exclusive for Israel. Why? Because we need salvation. We need saving, right? But the kingdom is going to be for everyone. And what I mean that is the kingdom, everybody's going to be in the kingdom. Quick synopsis, right? Quick little picture for you, right? You got the Buckingham Palace. In the Buckingham Palace, you got gates, right? In them gates, you got the big nutcracker soldiers, right? With the big tall hats, right? Picture those as angels. Inside the palace, the only people that can get inside this palace, inside the gates, right, are the Israelites. But outside of the gates, right? Outside of the gates, you have what? Civilization still happening. Other nations are still there. They can't get inside of the Buckingham Palace, right? They can't get inside of the Buckingham Palace, Shalom. But they're going to be there. right? That's what we see in Revelation chapter 12 and 21, I believe. Hey, my mind's, I'm pretty sure it's 12 and 21, where it talks about how the wall, about the New Jerusalem had a wall great and high, and the names written thereon are the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Even today, you take the White House. Can anybody just go into the White House? No, you can't just go into the White House, right? It's secluded for those special type of people. 21 and 12, con. But other nations are outside, right? I highly doubt they're gonna let a Muslim who they deem as terrorists inside the White House, right? You know what I'm saying? But a Muslim can still live in America, right? The kingdom of America, the Muslim can still live there, right? Shalom, shalom. Let's get another precept real quick. Because it's nothing new under the sun. Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 2 and verse number 17. Right? It's talking about King Solomon. And Solomon numbered all the strangers that were in the land of Israel after the numbering where David his father had numbered them, and they were found 150,000 and 3,600. Right? Even Solomon, in Solomon's kingdom, he had over 150,000 heathens there, right? Now, what were the heathens doing? They were in the kingdom, but what were they doing, right? Everything's got to be put in perspective. And he set 70,000 of them to be bearers of burdens. So they were bearing burdens. What did that mean? They were doing tasks, right? They were not at rest. Even when we go to our kingdom, right? When we get rest, there's going to be somebody there that's not at rest, right? Because if things got to get done and we're supposed to be at rest for all of eternity, who's going to be doing these things? Not us. Somebody's going to have to be picking up these burdens, right? And so Solomon set 70,000 of the heathen to bear burdens, and 70,000 to be hewers, right? In the mountain, cutting down trees and whatnot, right? They're doing these tasks. They're building up the kingdom for us, right? This is the precept is 2 Chronicles 2 and verse 17, right? Reading on. And 3,600 overseers to set the people at work. What does this mean, right? Overseers to set the people at work. He said, he put 3,600 of his own men to look over these people as they're doing the work for us, right? What about during Solomon's reign when Israel wasn't servants? Who was doing the work then if heathens weren't? Exactly. The heathens are going to be cohabiting with us because somebody has to do the work. I don't want to do no work, right? We're doing work in this kingdom right now. So when we get rest, I expect rest, right? I don't expect nothing less than rest. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get rest. And if we're at rest, somebody got to be doing something, right? It's not just, it's not just going to be, you know what I'm saying? We're not just going to have magic wands and whatnot. No, we're going to have the heathen. The heathen, the strangers are going to be working for us. But they are going to be in the kingdom, right? They are going to be in the kingdom. And we're going to keep proving that. Let's go to the book of 1 Kings chapter 11. Matter of fact, this is 1 Kings 11 and 1. I got this in here. Just a little sidebar, right? Because although we see that King Solomon was living amongst well over 150,000 heathen, that could have been his downfall too, right? So everything got to be put in his perspective, right? We can't have too many of them now, right? Let's read this real quick. This is 1 Kings 11 and 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, the Zidonians, and Hittites, and the list goes on, right? And that's where he went off, right? Because although the heathens are there, they have to maintain their proper roles, right? And that's being subjective, right? We can't be giving unto them. We can't be messing around with them, making marriages with them and all that stuff, because that's how we ended up here in the first place, right? And so that's common sense, right? You know what I'm saying? There's boundaries. There's boundaries, right? There's a hierarchy. There's a social status. There's a social class. That brings me back to the point of the scripture where if somebody says it, you can throw it in the chat, where it says that we'll all be joint heirs to the kingdom, right? Who's going to be joint heirs with the kingdom, right? It's going to be the Israelites. You can't have a heathen be a joint heir with you, right? That would make no sense. That would make, because somebody has to be resting, somebody has to be working, right? I mean, that's just plain and simple. Solomon just liked women like David. He liked women just like David, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look. But the problem was not just any women, strange women, right? That was his problem, the strange women, and it caused him to pull himself away from the Most High. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 47, and verse 23, I believe. No. Scratch that. We already read that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14, in verse 1. This is gonna make it plain. I love Isaiah chapter 14. This is probably my favorite chapter in the Bible, right? One of my favorite chapters in the Bible, right? Isaiah 14, hands down, right? And it reads, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel," right? He's choosing us, right? And set them in their own land. We're getting salvation. He's taking us, he's placing us back in our homeland. We don't have to call each other's niggas and spicks and beaners no more, right? We don't have to consider ourselves in our land of captivity because we're going home, right? It's salvation, right? But what happens with that? And the strangers, right? The heathen, the other nations shall be joined with them, right? And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. They're going to cleave to us, right? Just like we cleave to them now, right? This is plain and simple. This is the white man's kingdom, but we're still here. We're not exterminated. We're still here. Why? Because the white man has to be at rest and we got to be working, and we cleave to them in everything, right? Hunger, thirst, nakedness, right? We go to them for clothes, water, food. It's the normal spiel that we go out on the highways and byways and we teach every week, right? Showing our people how we're still in bondage, right? How we're still cleaving to the heathen, right? And it reads, verse number 2, "And the people shall take them." The Israelites are going to take these strangers and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land. This is what it means, man. The house of Israel shall possess them in the land. They're going to be there. They're going to be our possessions, which means that they're going to have a lot of inheritance on our property as well, right? It's common sense, right? Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Why do we need servants and handmaids? Because we're not going to be doing it. Again, we're not going to be doing it. "And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors," right? This is what salvation is, right? This is where salvation comes into play, right? Like the priests in Esdras. Like the priests in Esdras. Now the priests, now in Esdras, in the year of Ezra and whatnot, bro, they was a little mighty. You know what I'm saying? They was a little mighty, and I rock with them because they wasn't taking anything for you know what I'm saying, for nothing. Let me find that precept real quick. And this is actually this is actually the state of being that we're in right now, right? Because he brought up Ezra, I got to bring it out. This is Ezra chapter 4 and verse number 3, right? All right, so, and it says, "But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said," let's go to 4 and 2. Let's go to 4 and 2. Slakia. Because this is a mighty precept, I'm not going to lie, right? Man, this digital sword, man. Ezekiel, no, Ezra 4 and 2, KJV. Let's get it. Read full chapter. Here we go. "Then came to Zerubbabel," right? Watch this. "And to the chief of the fathers and said to them, let us build with you," right? So now we see that the heathen are coming to the Israelites and they're saying, "Hey, look, let us build with you," right? "For we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither, right? And Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chiefs of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build a house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord our God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, has commanded us, right? So look, there's going to be a time where we're going to cohabitate, right? Right now is the building up though, right? And, you know, people might disagree, but I feel how our forefathers feel as of right now in the spiritual realm, right? We don't need nobody outside of Israel to help build us up, right? The heathen are there for what they're going to be there for. But spiritually right now in this great awakening, I feel like this is what time we on right now. And spiritually, right? Not to get it misconstrued that there are going to be heathen in the kingdom, right? You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to learn how to be cohabitants with them, right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. I'm going to go back to Romans 12 and 18, right? Because this is a principle. If it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men, right? And that's key. Because like I said, man, we got to understand that we're fighting against not flesh and blood, but principalities. So it's really not Esau who we're warring with, right? We're warring with the spirit that's on Esau. And once you understand that, hey, look, there's nothing that Esau can do to you, right? It's like the scripture says, fear not the one that can kill you, right? But the one that can kill the body, but kill the body and soul, right? And so once you understand that, it's like Esau gonna be Esau because it's within him. I brought up the analogy before. That's why a lot of times you talk to a white man or a white woman, they don't even pick up that they're racist, right? Because it's just in them. And when you understand that, you just let things be. I used to tell my wife this all the time, right? Whenever I got frustrated, whenever she got frustrated, I always just say, hey, look, man, you control what you can Salakia. You control what you can control, and the stuff that you can't, hey, pray about it. You know what I'm saying? You can pray about it, but control what you can control. The stuff that you can't, don't even worry about it, right? Be peaceable with all men. Now, there's a time and season for everything, right? That's why back in the day, in the ancient times, we were peaceable until somebody turned up, and then, you know what I'm saying, then we got a little crazy. But before we even did that, what did we do? We sook the Lord first, right? Before we went to any war, we always talked to God about it, right? Before we did anything, we always talked to God about it. He gave us the hey, take them out, and hey, look, we took them out, right? With the swiftness, with the quickness, right? And so arose up a lion, Khan. So Deuteronomy 23 and verse 8, which we did tonight, right? The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation, right? They're going to be amongst the congregation of the Lord, right? They're going to be in the kingdom, right? Just get over it, right? So for all my people, like there's two type of people. Remember, those that love Esau too much and those that hate Esau too much. And there's a happy medium, right? We talked about those that love Esau too much in the last video. But today, for those that hate Esau too much, you're going to have to get over it, man. Right? You're going to have to get over it. Because if you can't get over it, you're just not going to be in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And so let's see real quick. And so it says, I'm going to read that one more time. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. And really, this is precept upon precept right here in Ezekiel, right, where it talks about the kingdom. Verse 47 and verse 22. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, the Israelites, and the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall begot children among you, right? It just told us in Deuteronomy that their children in third generation shall be in the congregation, right? And it says, which shall begot children among you, the strangers, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. What does this mean? Are they going to be equal to the Israelite? No, that's not what it's talking about. But they're going to be amongst us. They are going to be amongst us. That's exactly what it means. It doesn't mean that they're going to be equivalent. All it means is that they're going to be amongst us. Shalom, brother, right? I'm going to finish it out. Which shall begat children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel, right? They shall have an inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. What are their inheritance going to be, right? If I possess somebody, right? Technically, everything that's mine is his, right? I mean, really, it's everything that his is mine. But he's gonna have an inheritance on my property, right? Just like the slave quarters, just like the projects, right? Just like the national reserves for the Native Americans, right? And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourners, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord God, right? And so this is, and so that's what this is what it means, right? And so we got to understand that we got to stop being weird. We got to stop being like these Edomites that the brother was talking about in the video before, where he was saying, he went on to say, hey man, sometimes we're just so weird to the point where it's like, you know how white people be like, black people are so dirty. And they don't even want to touch us, right? We got to stop being like that, because we're starting to, you know what I'm saying, look and act just like Esau, right? You know what I'm saying? And we got to stop being weird. We got to understand on a practical sense and a down to earth sense, we're all going to be cohabiting, and we're all, what Paul say, if it lies within you, be peaceable with all men, because this is going to make everything easier, right? And with that, man, I definitely encourage you to go watch the last video from Tuesday on verse number 7 about abhorring the Edomite. That was an awesome video. We had fun doing that. And then also we watched this one. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and be on the lookout for more videos. We should be doing a video tomorrow. And with that being said, man, I give all honor and glory to Abba Nawa Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. That's the name of the Father, in the name of his Son, who the world innately calls Jesus Christ. I say, study hard, Israel. Get along, be peaceable with all men, right? Shalom.